Hello friends, this is Akash Mishra here and welcome back to my YouTube channel, that is Mechanical Engineering Make Easy. We are moving with welding techniques. This is 12th lecture of manufacturing and second lecture of welding. Okay, and watch till end because this is too much important concept for our gate point of view. Okay, so we will start with air acetylene welding. What is air acetylene welding? Okay, in previous lecture we have studied oxyacetylene welding. Okay, in that case what was the case? The acetylene cylinder and oxygen cylinder, these two cylinders was there, but now in case of air acetylene welding we will only use one cylinder, that is nothing but acetylene. Okay, here will be one knob here, and this acetylene gas will be supplied to torch, and the air will be taken from outside atmosphere, and with the help of the oxygen which is into the air and the acetylene gas, the burning will happen and flame will develop here. Okay, means what is the basic principle? In previous case, in case of oxyacetylene welding, we was taking oxygen from cylinder, and in this case we are taking oxygen from air. This is only the difference in case of oxyacetylene welding and air acetylene welding. Okay, and because of this number of things happens. Likewise, in previous case there was purely oxygen present, so that's why the complete efficient burning was happened, and the average temperature and maximum temperature of flame was higher. But in this case the T average is nearly 500 to 700 degrees Celsius, and in that case, in case of acetylene welding, the average temperature was minimum 1800 degrees Celsius. Okay, this is basic difference because of air. Then yes, and why this have too much low average temperature? Because another thing that we are using air, so convection and radiation losses are also higher. Which losses? Convection and radiation. As compared to oxyacetylene welding, in air acetylene welding the convection and radiation losses are too much higher. That's why also the efficiency and average temperature and maximum temperature are lower. Okay, then the welding light sections of lead brazing and soldering, these kind of applications the air acetylene welding have, like welding of light sections. Okay, that kind of application the air acetylene gas welding is used. Okay, and I am moving too much fast because we have time constraint also, and I have to cover all the syllabus of GATE. Then oxyhydrogen welding. In this case again we will use two cylinders. First cylinder will have O2, second cylinder will have hydrogen gas, and that oxygen and hydrogen will be given to this torch. In between the combustion will happen and the flame will be generated. Okay, and the another principle is same. So with the help of flame the workpiece will be heated, and if required filler rod will be there. If required the filler rod will be used, and the welding action will be happened. Okay, this is nothing but the oxyhydrogen welding, means in place of acetylene the hydrogen gas is used. Then ideally H2 to O2, hydrogen to oxygen ratio ideally 2, and that is practically 2.526. Because see, ideally for burning of, for example, two molecules of hydrogen, the one molecule of oxygen is sufficient. This is ideal condition, but practically there are number of limitations, like all molecules will not get directly the oxygen molecule. There may be some constraint. Then some oxygen molecule may go outside into atmosphere. Likewise, number of losses may occur there. That's why practically for proper burning and proper welding action and proper maximum temperature, we need to supply hydrogen in more amount. Okay, that's the case. That is H2 to O2 ratio is 2 in ideally, but practically H2 to O2 ratio is 2.5 to 6. Okay, note down this point. Then metals can be joined like low melting point, lead, tin, zinc, cadmium, aluminum. Which metal have low melting point like lead, tin, zinc, aluminum, etc. That may be joined with oxyhydrogen welding. Okay. And the maximum temperature will be Tmax will be 2880 degrees Celsius and T average will be equal to 700 to 900 degrees Celsius. Okay, maximum temperature 2880 degrees Celsius and average temperature is 700 to 800 degrees Celsius. Note down these all points. Then we will move towards next, that is nothing but atomic hydrogen gas welding. Okay, next is atomic hydrogen gas welding. If you are enjoying, then please like session and share this, because I am providing too much genuine content for GATE preparation, so all students should be benefited. Next is atomic hydrogen gas welding. Atomic hydrogen gas welding, what is that? Means atomic hydrogen will be used and we are going to supply electric supply for that, and that hydrogen will be burned and the welding action will happen. Okay, so for that the current will be in range of 15 to 150 ampere. Okay, and the voltage will be in range of 50 to 75 volt. Okay, these are the parameters that we need to supply, then only the welding action will happen. Then electrode diameter, because what happens, the current and voltage, this will be supplied to electrode, and because of that electrode the atomic hydrogen will burn and the heat will be generated, and that heat will be supplied to workpiece will be melted, and if required filler material will also melt and the welding action will happen. Okay, and the electrode diameter will be 1 to 5 mm. Okay, electrode diameter will vary from 1 mm to 5 meter required as per our requirement. These are the some specifications that you may be came in situation that in case of GATE exam they may ask you what the range of current we have to supply in case of atomic hydrogen gas welding. Likewise question may come. Okay, and the applications, the highly reactive and high melting point metals like aluminum, magnesium, etc., and stainless steel. Okay, so atomic hydrogen gas welding can be used for highly reactive and high melting point materials and stainless steel. Okay, so we will move towards next, that is arc welding. These are all the types of gas welding that I have covered from previous lecture up till now, and now we will move towards arc welding. Okay, arc welding, in case of arc welding what will the case? Okay, electrode will be there, workpiece, and the supply will be given. Okay, negative supply to electrode, positive supply to workpiece. This is the very basic diagram of arc welding. The arc will be formed and here some gap we have to put, means in electrode and workpiece there will be some small gap, and because of that gap the sparking will happen and heat will be generated. Ultimately this electrode may be consumable or non-consumable. If that electrode is non-consumable, then we have to supply filler material. Okay, this is all the basic principle of arc welding. Then, and yes, one of the basic disadvantage and very much large disadvantage of arc welding, that material should be conductive. Electrically conductive materials can only be welded with the help of arc welding, because we have to give supply to workpiece also. Okay, so note down, that is nothing but conducting materials can only be welded with the help of arc welding. This is very big disadvantage of arc welding. Okay, so anode will be our workpiece which will be given positive supply, and cathode will be our electrode which will be given negative supply. Okay, anode and cathode. And in case of anode and cathode, okay, in case of arc welding, the 67% of generated heat will be given to anode and remaining 33% of heat will be given to cathode. Okay, likewise the case in arc welding, 67% of generated heat, how much amount of heat is generated, the 67% amount of that heat will be supplied to anode and 33% of heat will be supplied to cathode. Okay, and the maximum temperature at anode, T max at anode, as the maximum amount of heat is supplied to anode, so maximum temperature will be at anode. That's why the maximum temperature at anode is nearly 5000 to 6000 degrees Celsius. 5000 to 6000 degrees Celsius. That will depend on which kind of arc welding we are using, but that will vary from 5000 to 6000 degrees Celsius. Okay, then these are all the techniques that I have designed for today's lecture. Now we will move towards bonus points, and if you are enjoying, then please like, share and subscribe. So bonus point for today's lecture, the types of electrodes we are using in case of arc welding. There are number of types of electrodes that we will look in bonus points today. Electrodes, okay, so first is bare wire electrode. Bare wire means only the metal wire will be there, nothing, the coating and etc, anything additional process will not be done on that wire. Okay, means only single metal rod is there, that is nothing but bare wire electrode, no another coating, no another material, etc etc. Okay, that is nothing but bare wire electrode. Then coated electrode. Okay, bare wire electrode is not too much popular for using. The coated electrodes are used in number of applications. Okay, so coated electrode is our main point. So coated electrode have types depending on the coating. Okay, we provides coating for some specific purpose, like for providing shielding, for providing proper heat dissipation, likewise for providing not to enter any impurity, likewise. So what are the types of coating? Okay, first is ferrosilicon or ferromagnetic coating. Ferrosilicon or ferromagnetic coating, which is used for deoxidization. Okay, if the electrode have the coating of ferrosilicon or ferromagnetic, then that coating is used for deoxidization. Means because of oxidation, what happens, the impurities may enter, the corrosion occurs, likewise number of factors are there, the heat dissipation will not be proper. That's why the for deoxidization of the what that system, that's why the ferrosilicon or ferromagnetic coating is used. Then next is TiO2 or rutile coating. Okay, titanium oxide, or we can call it as rutile coating. And this coating is used for producing slag. Okay, what is the slag? Means the cover will be on the welded joint. Okay, and that is because of to provide any containment and etc, the to provide impurities, means to not enter the impurity into that welded joint. That's why the slag is covered on the welded joint. Okay, and that is nothing but the purpose of slag. Okay, so TiO2 or rutile coating is used to provide slag on the welded joint. Then there is potassium compound coating. potassium compound coating, and this coating is used for stabilization of arc. Okay, means what happens, as operator is moving this electrode, that's why this gap should be maintained proper. Okay, if this gap will increase, then ultimately what will happen, the arc will going to vanish, and if this gap will decrease, then also directly contact between workpiece and electrode will happen, then also the arc will going to vanish. That's why this gap should be maintained proper. But practically there may be the thing that small changes in micron will happen there while moving the electrode or workpiece. That's why for stabilization of arc at that extreme conditions also, we provide the potassium compound coating. Okay, stabilization of arc developed between workpiece and electrode. Okay, then there is cellulose coating. Cellulose coating which is provided for shielding gas. Means what happens, because of heat, the shielding will take place at the arc development zone. Okay, here the shielding will take place, and this will promote the proper joint, and this will not going to entertain any kind of impurity there. Okay, this is the main purpose of shielding gas, and for generating shielding gas we use the cellulose coating on the electrode. Okay, these are some types of electrode that I wanted to share with you. This is all about what design for today's lecture. Please like, share and subscribe, and from next lecture again I will go in detail with arc welding. Okay, today we have only taken some introductory part of arc welding. From next lecture we will move in some detailed manner. So up till now, bye.